Okay, so what are we up to today? Well, it's going to be something that's a little bit trivial today. We're going to try and hopefully succeed to add icons to our GLFW window. So the idea is to be able to have an icon here instead of this default icon, and also have an icon on the toolbar, so instead of this default icon on there. Not too tricky now I know how to do it, but when I first did it, it wasn't so easy. So let's get started. We're going to do a tiny little bit of housekeeping first, because I want to be able to just improve this a little bit here. Const char screen title. We're not going to call it screen title, we're going to call it just title. I don't think screen title's needed. And we're going to put in here, because this is what today's bit's all about, add icon to project, something like that. Something's gone wrong there, we got too many. That looks a little bit better. And we're then going to change this on the end here, because this just makes this a little bit better. Especially if we spell it the same. Then we're going to pop into here, and we're going to do the same on here. We'll change this here to title. That should do that. Right, then back in here, what we're going to do now is we're going to do one more bit up here first. We are going to const char, and then we're going to do icon path, and this will be simply set to our textures over here and the GitHub JP, which is this icon here. It's a PNG. That's it. That should be that. And I've done what wrong? Why didn't it like that? Oh, because it needs to be a pointer. And that's that. And then the next thing we need to do is we need to add some way of being able to create the icon, or somewhere to create the icon. So we'll simply do it. We could do it in Initialize, but I'm going to do it as a separate little function. Void GLFW icon, and that just needs to be like that. That bit in there, GitHub puts that in there, and then we'll simply click on that, create a definition. That then comes across into here. We can now start to build that up. This isn't that difficult. When I first learned this was difficult. I found things like this really hard to. I mean, the information was on the GLFW website, but you had to find it and then sort it out and get your head around how this actually works. So what we need is GLFW image with a slower what name? Image, and we'll simply call this icon, like so. What do I do? GLFW. I get a feeling every morning when I come to my computer, my keyboard shudders when it thinks, oh God, he's going to come and try and type something. We're going to make that an array. It's only going to be an array of 1, but we're going to make it an array. And we are going to then do icon 0 pixels, yes, and yes, all of that. I'll tell you what we will need to do. We'll need to pop up here and just add stb in there. Nope. That has to have, actually that has to have stb in front of that to make that work. That then gets rid of the red lines there. We then need to do GLFW, set Windows icon, the window icon number and the icon at the end of it, like so. We then need to free the stbi data, and that's simply image free and the icon and the pixels that we're drawing. Okay, that then gets us to the next bit where we need to go across to make use of this. We need to be able to call this. So what we're going to do is we're going to go back to app again, and in here where we've just made this change, we're now going to add a, because this was only trapping an error if it didn't work. So if it loads, we can then go to the next part, which is that, and we can also, it's loaded successfully, we can now call our Windows Manager icon loader. So it will be Windows Manager, the lowercase one, because that's what we're calling it up here. So that's the function, that's what we're setting the name to. And then dot call the icon. Now theoretically that should be as simple as it is. There's probably better ways of doing it, but that's how I've done it on my last few projects and it's worked. Let's be brave and click the green button. This is always the bit where I get and think, did I miss something? Was there something else I had to add into that to get it to work? Or did it do it? It did it. So now we are the proud owners of an icon up here and an icon on our taskbar, on our menu bar down the bottom there. I think that's, I mean, I know it's trivial, but it is quite an interest. When I was learning GLFW and C++, this was something that vexed me for quite a few days, so it was something that was it did take a lot of effort to get it to do it, and I did get it done. After I've done it, I always find these things really interesting, that, you know, it's just another tiny little piece of the jigsaw added to the project. Anyhow, there we go, that's going to be it for today. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to try to integrate IAM-GUI, so as we've got some GUI, so as we can have a window with some interactive controls on, so maybe we can move this image or something, or I don't know what we'll see if we can get IAM-GUI going next. Anyhow, thanks for watching if you did.